for it. Let's go. So here we are, Titans fans. It's episode 3 of the Tennessee Titans UK Fans podcast. We've had a bit of a break since the last one, simply because there's been nothing to talk about. But obviously, there's a rather important day coming up, which is the NFL draft, which the Titans, say, lucky enough to get the number one pick. It's not very lucky when you get it because you're the worst team, but let's not worry about that. Let's think of the positives and let's see where we're going to go. So the draft is, well, I say tomorrow night, Thursday. It's 1 a.m. Friday, I think, when we're going to see the first pick of the draft for the UK fans. So a bit of a long wait still for it, but we're going to have a quick chat just to kind of go around where we think we're going to be with it. So we'll see where we go with it. With the round one, guys. I've been on Twitter today looking around. Cam Ward, isn't it? What do you reckon? It's got to be Cam Ward, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, and that virtually everyone expects them now to pick Cam Ward. I don't think there's not going to be any trade, so it's Cam Ward. Um,
James, same thoughts?
Yeah, there's not really anything much more than Cam Ward, I think. The Brian Callahan did say about picking generational talent. For me, that's looking at Carter or Hunter, but everything just seems like the stars are aligning for Cam Ward. Even the last couple of weeks, I've been watching all the hype about it, and I'm starting to get on that hype train for Cam Ward now. Yeah, I think it's going to be him. We're not trading. We're sticking with number one. So
That's it. I think if we are going to trade, it would have to be something really stupid. And I think a lot of these teams aren't, you know, although Cam Ward looks good, and I think he is going to be a good quarterback, he's not the next Tom. Like, I don't want to say he's not the next Tom Brady. He might be. But like I say, he's good, but he isn't like, people aren't desperate for him. I think a lot of teams are quite settled with the quarterbacks. I think it would take a lot for us to trade. And I was reading not long ago that he's been messaging Calvin Ridley. There was talk, I don't want to say this, but there was talk of him asking Warren Moon if he could have the number one shirt, which, is causing a bit of debate at the moment with Titans fans. So it seems like everything's talking about it, it's happening there. So I think, pick number one, well, round one, pick one. It's going to be Cam Ward. It's a bit of an easy one to discuss, really. Now, I have to apologise here. I've been out of the loop with American football just recently. I've been doing soccer, English football, recently. So I've done 3 games this weekend. I've been dragged into the championship and non-league and relegation battles. I know James has been watching the Wicked Wanderers, so I know he's been quite busy. David's been obviously talking quite a bit on Facebook page, so he's kept the Titans bit alive. So I'm a bit out of sync with the draft at the moment. So past this round, round two, we've got pick 35 overall pick, which is pick 3 of round two. Any thoughts who we're going to take on there? I mean, I was reading earlier, the suggestion of an edge we're going to sign. I'm going to say his name, Aluwafemi Alajeo from UTLA. I'm not too sure if that's how you say his name. I'm not very good with names, but do we think we're going to go for edge, or do you think maybe wide receiver? Where do you think we're going to go with the next round pick?
well, I think really depends on who is available at that time. If there's, I think primary choice they'll go for is a wide receiver. So if there is one, say Burton or Exuper, they might go for that. But if there's not, then obviously they go wide receiver. I mean, they'll go an edge rusher, but it just depends on who is actually available for them. Personally, I'd like to go for Burden. I think he's quite a good choice. He'll probably be more likely to be around about 32. So yeah, they've got a good chance of getting him. I think if not, then probably they may well look to try and see if they can get a trade. But again, it depends who is available at the time.
Any thoughts,
yeah,
James?
it's I think we're in that unfortunate situation where we don't have a round three pick or any multiples in round two. So you're kind of looking, the options are you've got to find a blue chip player early on in round two, or you're looking for a trade. I mean, for me, a lot of the mock drafts that I've done, the wide receivers, I'm sort of looking around. I'd love Burden to come into the round two, but a lot of the ones I'm seeing, he's going in the first. For me, I looked at Trey Harris from Ole Miss. He looks quite good. He seems to be a good wide receiver, seems to do everything. He's not got the speed to him, but he can one of those good for contested catches. The interesting one I have been reading recently in Edge, and if he does drop to round two, could be interesting, is James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee. Um, Being a Titans fan, I've adopted Tennessee as my college team. So I'm quite big on most Tennessee college players. There's been a lot of talk about his discipline, and that's why he's dropped down the boards. But I feel like if he's there, he's one to take at edge. If he's not there and we don't have a good wide receiver, I'm thinking trade back, get a late round two pick, hopefully a round three.
I think that's the problem we've got at the moment is we don't need a couple of players in a couple of positions. We kind of need half the roster, don't we? We're in a proper rebuild now where we've got to really rely on, getting a good draft class come in, plenty of players, and then start relying on free agency. So I think because we need, I was looking earlier and I was thought we need a bit of everything, don't we? Um, I mean, I'm still not sure what's going on with the quarterback position. So I think obviously Cam Ward is going to sign. You know, is Levis going to stay? Are we going to try trade him for a late round pick? Is somebody going to give us anything for him? Then you look at wide receiver position. Traylon Burks. Can we get anything out of him? Possibly, probably not. So it's going to be difficult for us to try and get anything more out of the draft. I think so. It's when you need quite a bit, it's quite difficult, isn't it? It's like you said earlier, it's who's going to be available at that point. You might have your eyes on a couple of players and they get picked up by somebody else you're not expecting. So then suddenly you're going to plan B, plan C. And I guess it's difficult because you're never too sure who's going to pick up who in the draft, are you? I mean, yeah, it's a lottery, isn't it? It's if you think someone's not going to pick somebody, then they go early on in the draft, and then you're scrambling around for the next option. So yeah, it's hard. We've got quite a bit of building to do. I think we're in for a couple of interesting seasons. Are you guys going to stay up to watch the draft? Do you think you'll make it?
I don't think. Well, you're only interested in one pick, so
I think I read
basically,
the first one. Yeah.
staying up late just to see one pick, and they may take, it's not really worth it. So I'll wait for the surprise in the morning.
Oh yeah,
But
that'll be a real surprise on the first night, won't it?
yeah, but to be honest, going back to what you were saying, I think the Titans after free agency have made their decision on the lineup for the offensive line. And the secondary, I think, is pretty stable. They're quite happy with what they've got. So really, the two positions I think they really look really weak in is an edge rusher and a wide receiver. I think if they can nail those two positions, they have a chance of being at least reasonably competitive this season. Maybe get to 8 or 9 wins in the season. That would be a good
8 wins.
season. Yeah, I
Big
don't,
possibility.
I don't think they were too, I know they lost a lot of games last season, but you think had they had better quarterback play, had they had some wide receivers to catch the ball, then maybe they could have actually gone to 6 or 7 wins quite
Mm.
easily. I mean, the first game they lost by basically throwing away and losing to a side that only gave 150 yards offense. Yeah. So I think I'm more optimistic than I'm pessimistic about the season to come if they make the right decisions.
I think we were quite at the start of the season. We were in a lot of games, and we only lost by like small margins, like a one-score game. So we were in a lot of games, and it was those stupid mistakes. Um, I mean, I was very outspoken about Will Levis, and I always believed he was the one. I don't know why I jumped on him, and I just wanted him to do really well. But it's a tough one, and as you say, our biggest needs are probably those three: quarterback, wide receiver, edge. We do have a quarterback. People seem to still rate him Like coaches still seem to rate him, and if he's getting trade, there's people asking about trade, so people obviously do want him, whether that's just a backup QB or bridge QB, I don't know. Um, it's but wide receiver, edge, probably the main things. I've just been looking now at who's the best free agents left. So if we go QB1, then at number two, you're kind of looking at the wide receiver edge. And what do you do? I think there's a lot more options left in free agency for good wide receivers than there are edge. Maybe I'm not showing, maybe I don't have the greatest knowledge on other edge players, but for me, you'd go edge in round two, and then look at free agency to bulk up on wide receiver, and then hopefully with a low pick or mid to low pick next year, we can get a blue chip wide receiver.
See, it's difficult really because if you're going for another rookie quarterback, and sometimes these rookies come in and they come in really well. I mean, Cam Ward might come in, hit the ground running, be really good. Sometimes they don't, and if you've got rookie wide receivers, they're learning the game at the same time, which is good because they're learning together. But then does that start putting pressure on the quarterback again to kind of, everyone's expecting him to hit the ground running, and if he's got rookies around him, is he going to struggle a bit? Because he'll be relying on the wide receivers. Interested to see if we have much of a running game this year. I know historically we've had obviously Derrick Henry and Chris Johnson where we've had the running game. It would be nice to see the Titans become more of a throwing team. I'm not sure if you guys think that's would be nice to see something a bit different for a change.
Well, yeah, everybody wants a good offensive team with ball passing it rather than running it. Obviously with Henry, you've got a lot of really big plays, but you really need to be able to pass the ball in this league then in 2025. You can't get away with just running it for most teams. I think we can do okay with a rookie because I mean Ridley is a good receiver and he's experienced. And the tight ends are really reasonably experienced. So there's things for him to, a rookie quarterback to go to. He's not reliant on just a rookie's wide receivers. So we can do well there.
Yeah, Chick came on quite well at the end of last season. I think he's definitely the number one tight end. I thought he did really well. And you say we've got Ridley. We did lose Nick Westbrook-Akine, but he was kind of a deep threat. Will Traylon Burks become good?
No,
That's the big question. He's
no.
a day one wide receiver, and you're just waiting for that. You're waiting for him to have that standout year, and for him to make the most of, or to reach the potential people thought he was going to make. Hopefully he stays injury free, but can he do
I
it?
remember his last game he played for us. He got that brilliant catch, went down, did his shoulder, and you're like, he's finally caught the ball. He looks really. Oh no, he's injured. So maybe if he left the Titans, he would improve. Or sometimes they go to a different team and it goes different. It goes better for them. You know,
He's only on the squad because he's injured. Once he's healthy, he'll be released.
which is a
He's
shame because he's got
Yeah,
potential. But
I
just
mean, I
he's
wish him
just
all
lucky
the
with
well.
injuries.
And if he succeeds with another team, good for him. But he won't get a chance at the Titans again.
This is the
If you want it
problem with
for first game, he'll be there and he'll catch it, and we'll be like, easy, and then he'll go off injured again.
this is the problem with those last few J-Rob draft days of Traylon Burks, that Isaiah Wilson and Caleb Farley. Those three absolute busts have just set us back years. And now I say we're looking at a team that we need a franchise quarterback. We need a franchise wide receiver. We need edge drastically. We've just been set back so much by bad drafts in the past, and which makes a lot of Titans fans nervous. I mean, everyone seems so hyped up on Cam Ward, but just looking at what we've done in the first rounds of draft, it makes you nervous. Are we doing the right thing? I know we've got pretty much a whole brand new back office of the Titans, so you'd like to think things will be different, and they've did their scouting properly this year.
See, what
It's
worries me a little bit is that there's hype with him, and has the hype got to the coaching staff, and they're kind of like, well, the fans want him, and we need to get the fans back on board, and he's a good player. And are the coaches and the team and the franchise and the owners, are they getting kind of hooked into it? This is the guy, where potentially, is it Schroeder? I can't say his name. Would he be the guy? Would he be a better option to go further down and get him instead? It worries me sometimes that it's like hype that kind of gets people hooked in, and then the hype gets carried away, then you end up making rash and wrong decisions. So you kind of hope that, like you say, the coaching team and the scouts have watched him and they're happy with him and they're confident with him. And he's I mean, you see his stats are great, but you see lots of players in college football where their stats are great, and it just doesn't go into for some reason, although it's a similar game and obviously it's a different level when they go from college to the NFL, it's a massive jump. And some of these players who are hyped up over the years just can't make that step into the next level. So it does worry me that maybe the coaches and maybe the owners are getting a bit kind of too hooked into the idea of this is the guy, and he isn't. But I mean, I'm fingers crossed he is, because it's quite clear we're going to get him. Uh, People love a good quarterback. Quarterbacks to me are the kind of the poster boys of American football, aren't they? They're your Beckhams of the football of the soccer world. So you want a good quarterback, but yeah, it does worry me that are we going to get hooked into it and not get it right? But, time will tell. So we'll see. He seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders, and he's been doing things right, making the right sounds at the moment, I think. But yeah, it's always a concern, isn't it?
He was in the top. Was he the top three for the Heisman finalists? So he's. I think with Cam Ward, you're not. It's not a stab in the dark player. You know what you're going to get. He did have a very good season at Miami, um, and I think we're not going to get a bad player if we draft him. It pains me to say this, but probably would be an improvement on Will Levis. Uh, will he be the heights of like Joe Burrow? But at the same time, Joe Burrow, I think the year before his draft place, he was ranked round two prospect, and in his last year at college, he jumped up to being the top pick. Same with Cam Ward. He's done exactly the same, and he was the Heisman. That's got to say some things. I feel like we're going to get a good player. It's just I just don't really want to be picking how in the situation we are. We've got two high picks, and we need three players in important positions.
Well, I think the good thing is that we have the first pick on day three. So there is the potential for having overnight to look at all the players that are left and decide who you want, which is good. But also they have the opportunity to trade up maybe 10 to 15 places, not too expensively, and pick another player, so who they want. So I think we're in a good position to maybe move up into the latter picks of day two.
See, one of the big questions is though, right? Is we're going to go for a rookie quarterback, and will the Titans think we need an experienced quarterback to play with him? We'll get rid of Levis. We signed some other bloke on a 1 year deal. Don't know who he was. He's obviously a third or fourth choice quarterback. Are we going to sign Aaron Rodgers? Are we going to go to Kirk Cousins? The Titans going to do something really stupid and go, we've got this great quarterback, but he's a rookie, so we're going to play him with somebody else for a year to make him good. I don't know. Are we going to do? Are we going to do something? I don't want to use the word stupid. We're just going to do something crazy, and we're just going to draft somebody really good, and then go do something really stupid and bring in like a 38-year-old quarterback and say, look, he's going to play alongside him. Who is going to be the second choice quarterback? Because quite clear Levis is going to go. I'd like to see him stay and challenge. I think he's going to go. So is there a plan in place for somebody else? Do you guys think we might do something stupid? Look, I don't say stupid, something wild, should we say?
Well, I always wonder why they always say you need an actual quarterback when why you don't have, say, employ an ex-quarterback to be a coach and who said does the same job as him, sitting on the sideline, advising him and that sort of thing. Who was an ex quarterback. You don't actually need to have a quarterback who's actually going to play or back him up as being, that need. You can do it by having someone who's actually played the game. So, say you went to Kurt Warner and said, "Look, we want you to come along and sit on the sideline and mentor him." You know, that would do exactly the same job.
Yeah, it was,
I think
it's not as exciting, is it?
Well,
I think if we draft Cam Ward, he's a day one starter for us.
yeah.
And I think you can get these QB2s that are essentially a coach, a backup coach, really. They're still athletic enough to throw the ball around the field and can suit up and stuff, but they are there predominantly as a coach. There's a few quarterback like QB2s that are around that do have done that sort of job. I wouldn't expect. I think what we've got so far are nothing more than, let's say, QB2s. Nothing that's going to put a pressure on Cam Ward. That's if he says we do draft him. But I think with Titans fans, we are very kind of pessimistic about drafts because we've had so many bad ones in the past. But we've got a new back office. We've got our GMs from the Chiefs, and the Chiefs don't do stupidity. They draft sensibly. They've been doing things the right way for a number of years, and look at them. They've been competing at the top for a number of years. So if he
Actually,
thinks,
you'd like to think bringing in those kind of guys now, they've come from a winning mentality. And because they're coming in, and I think Chiefs are probably going to be, they've probably left the Chiefs because they're on, I don't want to say they're on the way down, but they can't be riding that high forever. So maybe these guys have come to the Titans for a new experience. And yeah, like you said, they've won. They know what they're doing. They can make confident decisions. And well, hopefully they can come to the Titans and do that and improve us.
got to
Well,
trust the process, haven't we, really?
Say again, James, sorry.
I was saying we've just got to trust the process, really, haven't we? It's
How many times
these
you said that?
guys know they know what they're doing. It's it's gonna be a ride for sure. I just wish we had a few more pieces in place for the GM. Thing is, I never really disliked Ran. His biggest problem was he said we weren't in a rebuild when everyone knew we were in a rebuild,
Mm.
and I can't see the new GM and this new director or whatever of personnel, whatever he's that Chad Brinker guy, whatever he's calling himself. He's they know we're in a rebuild. I don't feel like we're going to be doing anything stupid and signing old players onto stupid contracts like we did with Ryan Tannehill. And no disrespect to Ryan Tannehill, because those first couple of years he was incredible and he took us to heights we've not seen for quite a while. But he was on a really high contract, which kind of hindered us towards the end. I don't see that happening. I see us rookies building all the way. If they believe Cam Ward is the one to be that franchise, we'll build around him and use free agency or what money we have left to build something good around him.
I think the thing with drafting it also is that a lot of it is luck. Um, you know, you can pick who seems to be the right choice and the right and injury or whatever. It just doesn't work out. I mean, Henry was passed on by something like 40 people before the Titans picked him up. A previous Heisman Trophy winner, probably one of the best, probably could be well be in the top 10 backs of all time. But and he was passed by so many people who thought he wasn't worth it.
Well, that's it. I mean, I think the Titans they have a good record of running backs over the years, so maybe lots of teams don't go for certain styles of play, and it's kind of one good thing in a way that we have been a running team over the year. We had some kind of identity, but then sometimes you've got to change the identity around sometimes. And talking of identities, how long has Callahan got as coach? I mean, I'm surprised with the new back room coming in, he hasn't gone. I would have thought they might have moved him on I know there was some things I read in the press where there seemed to be some disagreements behind the scenes, and some wanted him gone, and the owners wanted him to stay. Um, do you guys think Callahan's going to get along? If we, let's say we lose the first 4 or 5 games, will they get rid of him, or do you think we're going to stick him out for the season and try develop him with a young squad?
Well, I think it's a stupid move to hire a coach, and then, I mean, obviously, if they do something wrong, then fair enough, fire them. But to sack them after 1 year is just a complete waste of time. Why did you hire the first person in the first place? He needs to be given 2 years at least, and then you see you have to evaluate where the team is. Do you think they're turning the corner or not? I mean, Campbell, Detroit, he had two awful seasons to start with. Now he's sort of as being a genius. So I think Callan may well have the same thing. He'll have two moderate seasons, but better times are ahead. We seem to be starting to move in the right direction.
He's also had experience with young quarterbacks, hasn't he? Was it Stafford and Burrow? I'm sure there's another one on the list that he's a good quarterback that he's mentored. And maybe that's the reason why he stayed on. We were going to go, always going to go QB, and we've kept him because of that sort of experience. But I don't like firing coaches midway through a season because it just adds turmoil to the season. It could really just implode and we'll just crumble, or it may have that bounce back effect. But if you're firing a coach midway through a season, we're not in contention for anything. I'd just rather ride it through.
Yeah,
Uh,
you'd have to be like 2-8, yeah, for him to get fired, I think.
yeah.
I mean, that's the wonderful thing with American football, because there's no promotion relegation. You can have 3 or 4 bad seasons, and you're working towards a long-term plan. Obviously, in other sports like English football, you've got the pyramid where you go up, you go down. So, and managers leave on their own accord as well as being fired. So you need that instant kickback to try and get the results. In American football, you can go, oh, well, we'll write the season off. I mean, my brother supports the Cleveland Browns, for instance. They've been bad for so many years, and you can have a few bad years. You can get away with it in American football, as long as there's a process in place, and you can see improvements, or you can see you've got a plan to go with it. It's when you're losing games and there doesn't seem to be anything kind of progressing with it, is when you start getting a problem, really. So yeah, I'd like to see him given a chance. I'm with you guys. I don't like the idea of sacking guys mid-season. You kind of need to do it, you know, at the start, well, before the season, before the draft, so people are on the same book going forward. If he's not fired now, he's got to be there till the end to see it through. Because why pay somebody millions of dollars to sit home after being fired? I never understand that in any sport. Why would you give somebody a 5-year contract and sack them 6 months later and then moan about it? So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Callahan and what goes on behind the scenes. And obviously, we've got the new stadiums. Is it 2 years now for the new stadium?
Supposed to open in
2027
27.
opens.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So hopefully
So,
in two
yeah.
years, Callahan's going to be on it. Cam Ward's going to be the best player in the world, and we're going to lift the Super Bowl. Would you guys agree with that?
Well, they're talking about the Super Bowl in maybe 29. So, yeah. I mean, Nashville is one of the top cities in America. It's got, really good accommodation, etc., etc. That's why, and the draft was so successful when he was there. What was it, about 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
Mm.
So yeah, I'd quite easily see it being there.
Well, I don't care if the Super Bowl's there, as long as the Titans are lifting the trophy. They can
Hey,
have
what
they
you
can have a Super
expect?
Bowl in
You,
Nashville
you
whenever they
lifted
want.
the trophy with hosting.
Say again?
I said, I wonder where you were going with that, whether you were thinking about hosting or whether you thought about
Oh no,
lifting.
forget hosted. I don't care about hosting. They can stick WrestleMania in Nashville. I don't care about that. Yeah, I'll watch the WrestleMania. It's fine in the new stadium, but the Titans can win that Super Bowl wherever they like, as long as it's in my lifetime. So, well, I say my lifetime. I'd like it next season, really, but yeah, I don't think that's going to happen just yet, do you?
3-year plan. Give it 3 years.
3 years.
Well, that's
Yeah.
it. I've been saying that since 2002. I think I've been supporting them since. I keep saying 3-year plan, 3-year plan. Jake Locker's going to be the guy. Clearly not. The amount of times we've had these kind of like guys come in and you think, oh, this guy's going to be the guy, and it just isn't, is it? So I think we're due a bit of luck. I mean, it's hard because we have had some good seasons recently. With Tannehill, Mariota. We've come close. We've had a little bit of success. We've had winning seasons. And then when it comes down in American football, it's weird because you have if you have good seasons and don't win it, it's kind of almost like a waste, isn't it? And when you have the come down, you kind of get so angry about it and you're despondent, and the fans just aren't interested. The stadiums are empty, and it's so frustrating, isn't it? And then you end up getting to the draft, and you're excited for the draft, and you're like, yes, let's get yourself pumped up. We've got this draft, and then we haven't got a game now for 4 months. I don't like these big gaps in the NFL. It's a long time, isn't it? They need to find something to kind of bridge that gap, I think. What do you guys reckon?
Change it
Actually,
to a
it's the
26
saying
week
about it.
season.
We've obviously got the bowl has started again. The British American football. Have you guys been watching that this year, or have you seen that recently?
No.
Um, I'm kind of excited because years ago, Coventry Jets were one of the biggest teams. I think they won the Brit Bowl, and then about 2 weeks ago, I was sitting there and I was on Instagram and I was like, Coventry Phoenix, American football team. What's this? And they were Tamworth Phoenix. They moved to Coventry and they've said nothing about it whatsoever. So suddenly, on my doorstep, there's an American football team in Coventry, and nobody said anything about it. So they've got a game 13th of May, I think, the first home game they've got. So I'm going to make sure I go to that and I'm going to get some videos and stuff and share it with everyone because I'm well excited about that. So sorry, boring you guys there with the British American football. Obviously, not quite the same as the American football we like to watch in Tennessee, but yes, it's quite exciting that I can actually watch some football. But yeah, the gap in the between the seasons, it's almost like they could do like a reserve mini league or summer
Well,
league,
I think
really.
the XFL, or they equal. There are two different leagues that join together to
Mm,
form one that's playing around this time of the year. Um, I think
yeah, but
they're
it's not the same. If you had
well. I
like
mean, yeah,
if you had a summer
fill the
Tennessee
gap.
Titans team and they played in different rules and stuff, you'd want to watch that a bit more, wouldn't you? I think it's yeah, I just find it strange that a lot of these players kind of don't play any sports for kind of like 8 months, 7 months, 8 months, and all they do is train, and it's crazy. I mean, it's a
I
physical
think they go
game.
and play golf, don't they? A lot of them.
Well, that's it. They go enjoy themselves, but they say just they have such a big gap, and you just think it's a long time not to be competitive. I mean, I know obviously the games are quite brutal when they play them, but yeah, I'd love to see more of a summer league and just something a bit more. But I know you've got to give other sports an opportunity as well, haven't you?
Well,
Which
I
what
suppose the other
fair, I
thing. I
guess.
mean, the season starts from training probably in July, and it's pretty full on for the next 6 months. So they probably think, well, need a 3 or 4 month break before we get back to starting training again.
NFL's is a weird one, isn't it? When you look at all the American sports, their seasons are so long. Like NBA, NHL, baseball, they're all like 80 game seasons, and the NFL's 17. It's
Well, yeah,
it's
and they have
a weird one.
pre-season, and the pre-season games are dreadful, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's not the reserves, it's the reserves of the reserves in a half-empty stadium. So it's like they have like the main games, and then they have like a handful of pre-season games, which mean absolutely nothing. It's more of a warm-up for the kind of like Sky Sports to kind of get their cameras ready and get the stadiums warmed up for the actual start. So it's more of a warm-up for the non-football players, which is kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's just to get you back in the mood before the season starts to,
Yeah,
to get
it is pretty much, isn't
the
it?
appetite going, as it were.
You just know what it's going to be like. Cam Ward will play the first game of pre-season. He'll make five passes, all five will miss, and we'll sit there and be like, when is the next draft? When can we draft
Well, no,
another
we'll start
back?
talking about
And
Malik
we go
Willis
through
again,
this
won't we?
spiral again.
That is it. Then Levi will go to his first. Sorry, will go to his first game in preseason. He'll throw 10 bombs and he'll like get 10 touchdowns for 1,000 yards, and we'll be screaming, "Why did we release him?" Which is the typical sports fan, isn't it? You don't want the guy. The guy does well. Your guy does rubbish, and then you scream for him back. So that's just the joys of a sports fan, isn't it?
Yeah, always the way.
So, shall we call this a wrap for now? Because I think we're getting close to time, and
I
we're going
think
to try
so.
and get this posted out tonight. So, David, James, thank you for joining me once again. Obviously, once we've got some drafts going on in the next few days, we're going to have something a bit more juicy to talk about. Quite clearly, we're going to be talking about Cam Ward. I think we're all in agreement for that, aren't we? That Cam Ward is going to be the person we're going to be taking. So it'll be nice to see once we get past round one of who else we can talk about and what surprises the Titans are going to bring. Probably when we sign Aaron Rodgers. Uh, I can still see something like that happening. I can
You
see it.
want Aaron Rodgers ranked, really, don't you?
I feel like you want him, yeah.
No, the thing is, I really don't. But I can just, I don't know what it is. I just something about the Tennessee Titans just makes me think we're going to do all this work, we're going to do something really good, and then we're going to give Aaron Rodgers a 5-year contract on 100 million a year because it's just why not? It's just the Titan way to do things, isn't it? But we'll see. So, right, well, we'll leave it there, guys. Thank you for joining me once again. Obviously, hopefully, we'll do this again next week, and when we've got a bit more to talk about, and a bit more juice on it. And yeah, we'll leave it there, and we'll try work out how to use my laptop again. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon.
Cheers.
Jerry?
Thank you much. See you later.